Good morning to respected Secretary Sir, Anuradha Ma'am, Convener, Parenting Calendar, and all the esteemed committee members. Welcome to all the principals, educators, counselors, wellness experts, parents, and distinguished guests joining us today. It's a privilege to welcome you to the launch of the CBSE Parenting Calendar for the academic session 26-27, an initiative that reflects our continued commitment to strengthening the partnership between schools and parents for the holistic well-being of every learner. Building on the encouraging response to the last year's edition, the revised calendar takes a step forward by introducing more structured engagement strategies and focused psychosocial interventions. It addresses emerging challenges in today's evolving educational landscape and emphasizes key areas such as inclusion, coping with challenge and changes, and a development approach to the parenting. The calendar is envisioned as a practical guide to enable meaningful parent child interactions and to support students' emotional, social, and academic growth. At its core, this initiative aligns with the vision of NEP 2020, fostering a collaborative and nurturing ecosystem where schools and families work together to support each child's journey. We are confident that this calendar will serve as a valuable resource for schools and parents alike, enabling informed, sensitive, and proactive engagement in the developmental process of our learners. With these words, it's my honor to invite Shri Himanshu Gupta, Secretary CBSE, to kindly launch the CBSE Parenting Calendar for this academic session 26-27. Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much, Neeti. Thank you so much, all the committee members who were part of making parenting calendar, especially the chair, Madam Anuradha ji. I can see Manju ji, Rekha Krishnan ji, Swati ji, Meenakshi ji, who are here. And this initiative is very, very important for CBSE because parenting in the times of today has become a very, very important pillar and a challenge also for parents because kids these days are getting so much of information from various sources, and there have been instances of lot of mental health challenges also that we see kids go through, especially when they are in their adolescence. And the in an educational ecosystem, it's not just the school. I mean, a school is complete only when you have teachers, students, parents, and principal, when they all come together for the overall development of the child, because a child spends around 6 to 7 hours, 220 working days in school, but remaining of the time he or she is at home. Now we are also seeing that majority of the families are becoming nuclear. Children are not having that support from family members, like elder family members or siblings. We are having families with one child. So it is very important that parents understand how society has changed in past 20-25 years. We hear many times parents saying that हमारे time पे जब हम बच्चे थे तो ऐसा था, now things have changed. So it is very important that there are some tools that are available through which parents understand that how they can how they should be interacted with, and also for the schools, because these days schools principals and teachers, they also don't know how they should interact with parents. Many a times we hear teachers saying that parents these days are very demanding. At other point, parents say that teachers don't listen to them. So how we can create some sort of a protocol or some sort of guidelines or some sort of a handbook where teachers also and principals also find it useful for them, how they should interact with parents, how much they should interact, whether they should interact more or they should interact less, and what they should talk about, whether how much what should be the level of communication that should be there between schools and the parents. So I think all these aspects need to be worked upon, and I think the committee has put in a wonderful effort in bringing parenting calendar 26-27. One new feature that has been part of this is how to go for change management. How I think that is a unique special feature that has been brought up, because a lot of changes have been introduced this year by CBSE also following NEP and NCFSE. So it is important that schools communicate to the parents in a way that all their doubts are cleared, and also the anxiety related issues that prop up are handled in a very pragmatic and in a manner that parents, teachers are on the same page along with students. So with this, I congratulate once again to the committee. Please, I would like to say to all my schools, make the maximum use of the parenting calendar. Go through it. At least, you should not, as a principal, not just go through it, have brainstorming sessions with your teachers on it, and then devise strategies of how to bring together the parents, teachers, and students on the same page. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir, for your insightful words. With this, we formally launch the CBSE Parenting Calendar for 2026-2027. Once again, I'd like to thank Shri Himanshu Gupta, sir, Secretary CBSE, for his inspiring address and for setting the direction for this important initiative. We now move to the next segment of the program. It is my privilege to invite the committee convener, Ms. Anuradha Joshi ma'am, Principal, Sardar Patel Vidyalaya, Delhi, to address the gathering. Ma'am, we request you to kindly share your thoughts with us.
Thank you, Pali, and thank you, Mr. Gupta, for that enriching talk and introduction. As a member of this lovely committee, we've had the pleasure of exploring in depth a concept that, while seemingly practical and straightforward, is deeply philosophical in its implications: parenting workshops. They are often viewed as ancillary programs or logistical supports. These workshops, when thoughtfully designed and intentionally implemented, represent an affirmation of the very ideals, as Sir said, that we cherish as educators and guardians of learning. Any school is always based on the triad: the parent, the school, and the child. At its very core, these parenting workshops serve as bridges between the institutional authority of the classroom and the lived realities of home, bridges between pedagogical theory and familial practices, bridges between fragmented educational experiences and the coherent continuous journey of the learner. We have found through the year, while we've been interacting with a lot of people, as some of us have gone to various places, courtesy the CBSE's workshops, that parenting workshops as educational sessions designed to help parents have helped parents understand child development and learning processes, have strengthened parenting skills, have aligned with the school's educational goals and methods, have helped build supportive home environments. What we have found while practicing ourselves has been that when parents understand how to support learning at home, children show better performance, overall academic growth too. What this does is it helps parents develop a greater confidence in the school. Workshops foster open communication and mutual understanding between educators and parents. When schools actively engage with parents, trust definitely increases and families feel more invested in the school community. So the you versus us becomes a we, which is best for the babies that we have at school. It improves student behavior and well-being when parents who learn regulational techniques, emotional regulation support, and conflict resolution tools at workshops help create more emotionally secure environments at home, translates to better behavior at school, which is something all of us at school would love. Workshops also reduce educational gaps by empowering parents who might otherwise feel disconnected from formal school education systems, as they may have a different cultural context as compared to the school. Parenting workshops, as Sir pointed out, help transition changes, and this year has been rife with changes, particularly with the implementation of the NEP. Parents were provided guidance during key educational transitions. Example, starting school, moving from junior school to middle school, moving from middle school to senior school, as well as just before examinations. This helps reduce student as well as parent anxiety and improves readiness as well as outcomes. We found that when parents attend workshops together, it fosters peer support and collective learning. This builds social capital, and parents can share experiences, strategies, as well as resources. It benefits the schools because it provides a larger learning community and immense social capital for the school. It increases volunteerism, it increases advocacy, and it increases community led initiatives. All these have helped both schools and parent community work better to find a better place for their children both ways, in terms of emotional regulation, in terms of behavior, as well as in terms of academic gain. So, our request to all principals is look at it. It continues to be a two-way feedback. Your feedback would help us enrich it, and we'll work further to make it a little better for you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Pali, and thank you, Nitiji, for having given us this wonderful opportunity. We've learned more than we've shared, actually. Thank you, Pali.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for your wonderful insights and highlighting the importance of parenting workshops going in such depth. We will now request to hear from our esteemed committee members who have been an integral part of this initiative. May I request our distinguished members to kindly share their reflections? I would first like to invite Ms. Manju Arif ma'am, Principal, Delhi Public School, Bangalore North, to share her perspectives with us.
At the outset, I'd like to congratulate Himanshu sir, Neeti ma'am, Anuradha ma'am, and this entire team of principals who've worked so beautifully as a community. We didn't work as principals of individual schools, but we worked as a community that wants to understand what it takes to build a school ecosystem. And without the parent and the child, this ecosystem would be very incomplete. And our whole approach towards this was to find from the parents, because every parent is a parent for the first time. No matter how much you've been exposed to or you read books, you're learning from your child for the first time. And so the surveys that Anuradha ma'am conducted, and we sent out to parents and found out what is it that you require? What kind of help do you require? In what ways can you support the school? That is what led to this fantastic manual, the second edition, which is a huge improvement from the first, comes from feedback. And like Anuradha ma'am said, this feedback is something that we would like to get from all principals who start implementing it for the year 26-27. When we went with the first round of in-person trainings on the parenting workshops, we found that we learned from every school. Every school had practices in parenting workshops that were very unique, but were scalable. And we would request more schools to share their practices on parenting so that it helps. All of us build these programs to be stronger and scalable. I love the present manual for two reasons. One, it spans the entire year from April to January. It also looks at the holiday time. And I think that is when parents struggle saying, I don't know what to do with my children. It's too hot outside and they're addicted to their screens. And it has programs for that. It has programs for children with special needs. How do parents and schools engage? Do large group events support, or do I go to focus group discussions that allow for groups of parents with similar interests to come together? And so they build a community. And like ma'am said, and like Himanshu sir said, this year is a year of change. 2 board exams, 2 level of exams, the R1, R2, R3s, questions are pounding, saying, what do we do? And what better way than connecting schools and parents and students and teachers together on platforms where these questions can be discussed, solutions can be found, sharing between other schools can happen, so that there is clarity, and above all there is purpose. And and research has proven this time and time and again, where parents and schools work together, children grow beautifully. Academic success happens because that is a part, but then children learn to become resilient, they're emotionally stable, organizations thrive. And I think the one thing that Mr. Gupta has been at with is happy schools. Happy schools happen. Happy schools happen when parents and schools, teachers and children work together, understanding what it is to be. This manual also gives children voice, student voice and agency. In many of these conversations and workshops, we've suggested that students join, specifically in the senior classes, where they can lead workshops. So on that note, there's so much to happen. There's so much happening. I wish the whole country good luck. Please use this calendar extensively. It's very well designed. It's very easy to use. And please share your stories and your feedback. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much for your valuable remarks. I now request Ms. Rekha Krishnan, ma'am, former principal, Vasant Valley School, Delhi, to offer her views with us.
Thank you, Upali. Thank you so much. And thank you, Anuradha. Thank you, Mr. Gupta, Neeti, and everyone at the CBSE team for putting this thought together and this project together. It was a gap that I think we've faced and experienced as school educators for many years. As we come to the close of the launch of this parenting calendar, I would like to leave you with a very simple but powerful thought. There's a story about Richard Feynman. Richard Feynman was a physicist, and he got the Nobel Prize many years back, many years before many of the parents in today's generation were perhaps born. He got the Nobel Prize in physics in 1965. And he talks about how every day when he came back from school, his mother didn't ask him the question that all of us, at least I was asked by my parents when I came back from school, what did you learn in school? Aaj school mein kya seekha? Most of us as parents have asked our children this question when they come back and they throw the bag on the table or the sofa and whatever. His mother instead would ask him a different question. She would ask him, what did you ask in school today? And that small shift from what did you learn in school today to what did you ask in school today was so important. It says so much about the world, in a world where we measure children by the answers they produce in class, by the marks they get in their examination, by the outcomes that they have achieved in the classroom. And what matters more than all this is the curiosity they have, the willingness in the children to question, the power to question norms, power to think clearly for themselves, the courage and confidence to explore new domains, new frontiers. That is what we need to ask our children. And Richard Feynman credits his mother by saying that just this simple shift in her way of parenting, by asking me, what did you ask in school today? And that is why Richard Feynman is also credited with a very famous quotation, which I really like, is I would rather have questions that we cannot find answers to than have answers which cannot be questioned. So we as parents, as educators, need to create those kind of safe spaces for our children to be able to ask the right questions to us, to the parent community. And let's not, the parenting calendar is great. Everyone has spoken about it. It brings in the inclusion is a big aspect of it. Student voice is a big aspect of it. Summer vacations or vacations are a big aspect of the calendar. It is brilliant. And I'm sure it is work in progress. Every year it will improve and it will get better as we get better. But the one thing that we must look at as parents, as fellow educators, is let's stop looking for perfection in this world. Instead of being perfect parents, let's be present parents and educators. Let's be more present for our children than becoming perfect, because we'll all make mistakes. It is, to err is human. And also, instead of correcting our children and as parents or as educators, let's focus on connecting with our children, because very often we do not connect. We only come in when we have to correct students. So let's connect with each other as parents, as students, as educators, as children. And that is what will make the parenting journey so beautiful for all of us. It is messy, it is difficult, it is parenting, unfortunately, doesn't come with a manual, unlike most other gadgets that we use. But that adds to the beauty of being a parent and being educators on this journey. So I think, look at presence, look at connectedness, and listen to our children. We often forget to listen. We are so used to talking, giving advice, giving some piece of gyan, etc. Listen, connect, and be present for our children. And the calendar that CBSE has produced will give you all the tools and the skill sets and the nuts and bolts of how to become better educators and create this connection between the parent. And as Manju said, that when the parents and the school come together, it is the child who blossoms and grows, and nobody else benefits as much as the children do. Thank you so much for including me in the team. As somebody said, I have learned much, much more than what we have contributed to this group. Thank you so much. To the CBSE especially.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for your remarkable reflections and highlighting the cornerstones of parenting. May I now request Ms. Meenakshi Kushwaha, ma'am, Principal, Birla Vidyaniketan, Delhi, to present her thoughts.
Thank you, Pali. So first of all, big thanks to Himanshu Gupta sir, Niti ma'am, and her team for this beautiful initiative. And of course, our team of principals loved working with each one of you. The whole idea of revisiting the calendar that was made in 25-26 conveys that the whole concept is being taken up so seriously by CBSE. Because when you revisit a document and you kind of re-edit, it indicates that it's a living document. It needs changes be brought into it, and it needs to be modified. There are societal changes happening, the kind of technological changes. So I think revisiting this calendar, which was just made 1 year back, is a great initiative. Kudos to CBSE for this very thought. Now, ever since we got into creating and then revisiting this calendar, the entire journey has, reshaped my role as an educator. Contributing to a national level initiative meant that I was not just creating or implementing ideas, but also shaping them. So it was very important. It deepened my perspective on parents as partners, not just stakeholders, but as partners. It helped me become more of a, you can say, thoughtful and a reflective leader. I urge all to go through the calendar very well, and you will find the changes which have been incorporated and have already been spoken about by my fellow principals. Those changes are there, but yes, if we really go through and read in between the lines, you will be able to see your decisions through a wider lens of home environments, emotional climates, and the realities that parents navigate. We will learn to empathize more than cribbing that the parents are so demanding, blah, blah, blah. And it is important that we understand the realities the parents are navigating through each day. This will help us create empathetic policies at school, improved communication, and it will sharpen the focus on holistic development of children, which is the agenda of education these days. Priorities will shift from purely result-driven systems to more
To everybody, and especially to Sri Himanshu Gupta ji for leading this initiative. I think what Sir believed in was that parents need a sathi and a sarthi. And I think this parenting calendar has actually turned into that. So thank you for this initiative, Anuradha ji. Thank you for leading it. And Neeti ji, thank you for all your support. And to each one of us for taking this forward, because parenting is something that we have to support and celebrate.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you. Over to you, Upali.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Meenakshi ma'am, for your deep personal reflections. Thank you, Swati ma'am, for pitching in and sharing your thoughts with us. With these valuable insights, we come to the close of today's session. It is now my privilege to deliver the word of thanks. I would like to begin by expressing my sincere gratitude to Shri Himanshu Gupta sir, Secretary CBSE, for the virtual launch and for his continued leadership and vision in strengthening meaningful collaborations between schools and parents. I would also like to extend my heartfelt thanks to Srimati Neeti Shankar Sharma ma'am, Joint Director, Media PR and Counseling, CBSE, for her warm welcome and for her guidance and unwavering support in the development of this module. My deep appreciation goes to Ms. Anuradha Joshi ma'am, Committee Convener, for her valuable address and for the dedication and thoughtfulness that has gone into shaping this important initiative. I would also like to extend my gratitude to Ms. Manju Arif ma'am, Ms. Rekha Krishnan ma'am, Meenakshi Kushwaha ma'am for sharing their perspectives and for their collective contribution in developing a resource that will benefit schools and families across the country. I would like to acknowledge and thank our esteemed committee members, Dr. Swati Popat, President Podar Education Network, Mumbai, Dr. Nivedita Ganguly, former Principal, DAV International School, Ahmedabad, Ms. Richa Agnihotri, Principal, Sanskriti School, Delhi, Dr. Annie Koshi, Principal, St. Mary's School, Delhi, Dr. Paramjeet Singh, Principal, Army Public School, Ambala Cant, Ambala, Dr. Diganta Haldar, Principal, Sarla Vigyan Jyoti, Assam, Guwahati, Assam. I extend my sincere thanks to all principals, teachers, counselors, and parents who have joined us today. Your presence here reflects a shared commitment towards nurturing well-rounded, confident, and emotionally resilient learners. CBSE Parenting Calendar 2026-27 is more than a framework. It represents a collaborative effort to build stronger connections, foster understanding, and create a supportive environment for every child to thrive. With these words, I once again thank each one of you for your presence and support as we formally conclude today's session. Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. And the calendar would be available through the e-Sandesh to all the schools, and also it will be there on the website for everyone, all the stakeholders to have a look at. Thank you so much.
Thank you all. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you.